All right, team, what's up? Welcome back to the PT on Ice Daily Show. Thrilled to be here on Leadership Thursday. I am Dr. Jeff Moore, currently serving as the CEO of ICE and always pumped to be here on Leadership Thursday, which always pairs as a gut check Thursday. Let's get right into it and talk about the workout. So what we've got is the CSM workout. So both Alan Fredendahl and Paul Kaloran of ICE and I Dry Needle, the combo, are going to be there to lead you all through a workout Saturday morning. Anybody at CSM who wants to get some movement in, please join us 5 a.m. CrossFit Southie. You've got to sign up on the form. So go to the ICE students page. The form is on there. It's here on Instagram. It's on the pin post for the CSM WOD. I think we have like 20 signups, and I want to say they're taking in 30 or 40. So as we get very near to Saturday morning, make sure you jump on there if you indeed want to work out. It's going to look like this should you choose to attend. It is going to be an AMRAP, 25 minutes. Now, mind you, anybody not at CSM should still do this. Teams of 2, okay? We've got a 100-calorie row. We've got 80 alternating hang dumbbell snatches at the usual 50-35. You've got 60 box jump overs at 24-20. You've got 40 toes to bar, and then finishing off with 20 burpees over a dumbbell, and then going back up to the top should you have more time in your 25 minutes. Okay, should be a really nice chipper running through that. Going to get kind of a 1-to-1 work-rest ratio. Should be able to keep moving. Should be an awesome workout. If you go to the CSM workout, please make sure to tag us. I won't be there, so I'd love to see photos and videos of all of you getting after it. Let's jump into Leadership Thursday. The topic is deathbed regret. Will you have them? I think perhaps not. Let me explain. So the usual story goes something like this, and I think we've got to respectfully counter it, okay? The usual story goes something like this. Your grandfather or your grandparents in their twilight years, right, are regretting spending too much time at the office, right? Saying, oh, I wish I would have pursued more of my hobbies, done more things that I really cared about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the cautionary tale here that we're supposed to pull away from this constantly heard story is that you shouldn't overwork, okay? This is the concern. This is the moral of the story, if you will. Okay, I don't know about you all, but my grandfather worked in paint factories in downtown Detroit, Michigan. Tough gig, tough city, right? But he did what he had to do. I have no doubt, given the option, he would look back and say, I never asked him, but I'm sure he would have looked back and said, I wish I could have done a bit more of that, or I wish I would have chose to, if there were sufficient resources, do a little bit less of that and spend less time there. I have no doubt about that. That's fair. If your job feels like that, like it's tough, it's grindy, it's not necessarily one that you're super passionate about it, you're kind of doing it because you have to, but you can't change that because you're doing what you have to do. That's a job that's available to you and you're getting it done because that's your responsibility. Not only is that noble, but it's totally understandable to do what you need to do. But I would agree, maybe don't do a ton extra. And I can totally appreciate how regretted end of life could come should you choose to do a ton extra of something you don't necessarily love. I will cough that up. I will agree with that. I can appreciate why that's been the narrative for a lot of years. That being said, it is much more likely that you are doing something that you chose and that you are passionate about and that you love. Particularly if you're sitting here on Thursday morning, taking in Leadership Thursday, the odds are really good that you chose your career amongst a variety of options and you chose one that you believe in, right? You probably didn't choose the paint factory in downtown Detroit. It's a tough gig, right? That probably isn't one you were drawn to. And again, if you're in this ethos where you're taking in this kind of content, you're probably in a position where you chose something you loved. Now, if you started a company or you joined a company that you really believe in, regret is unlikely going to be the byproduct of your hard work in that space. So what I'm saying is that we need to advocate, or I want to advocate, for a shift from people on their deathbed say to, or towards, people on their deathbed used to say. Because I don't foresee myself or any of you saying in your twilight years, I really wish I wouldn't have fought so hard for something I believed so much in. I just don't see that coming. I totally see it from the paint factory, right? I don't see it when you chose your passion that you feel most aligned with, where you want to be of some use. I don't see that statement on the horizon. For me, the thing that I believe I'm fighting for is freedom for everybody from dependence on the medical industrialized complex, from the pharmacy, from the surgery, right? And instead, a belief in a utilization of one's own physical resilience, right? The belief that changing the narrative and educating the public that if they train and fuel well and they don't have a bad accident, that you can maximize and enjoy an incredible health span, right? And unfortunately, the narrative in this country is so the opposite, right? The amount of people who are unbelievably dependent on a ridiculous amount of prescriptions, that are so quick to surgery, that leave anything healthy once they're injured. We have so much to fight against, but I believe in this fight. And I don't believe that when I'm 80, I'm going to say, I wish I would have fought it less. I don't believe that. The principle runs too deep. Instead, and to close off the episode, a bit of real talk, perhaps. I think that our regret risk in this generation, now that that shift where choice is kind of the driver of career has been made, the risk more lies in the following items. I feel like I never made a difference. I feel like I didn't fulfill my potential. I didn't go hard enough. I never found my limits. I don't know what I was capable of doing in the good fight. I never generated sufficient resources to be able to support myself and others. I think this is probably the list of regrets that is more common, and they come from underworking, not overworking, when you've chosen something that you believe in. And many of us get to make that choice. So my message to you on this Leadership Thursday is, first of all, make sure you're doing that if you're able to. I do not mean to put anybody in a bad mental spot if they're like, dude, I'd love to, but my cards don't allow it. My situation, maybe right now and future, totally respect that. Do what you have to do. There's so much honor in that. If you get to choose, if those are your cards, choose something that you believe in and go all in. If you are a part of a team that achieves something that you believe to be deeply meaningful, you are not going to look back and wish you spent more time on yourself on vacation. That isn't how it's going to shake out. You're going to look back and say, I'm so glad that I was of some use. I'm so glad that I figured out the maximum that I was able to contribute in an area that I believe needed my efforts. That isn't something you regret. That is something you celebrate. It's time to push back against a narrative. Things have changed. Let's acknowledge it, and let's stop scaring people into not working enough to find their potential because of things being different 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Give it some thought. Thanks for being here on Leadership Thursday. We've got 1 million courses coming up. It's our busiest time of year. I think this weekend alone, we have 12 to 15 live courses. Make sure you jump on ptonice.com and check out that schedule. Get those skills. Get out there and help some people, y'all. Cheers.